Welcome to the underground, you rebel scum. This is the American Expat, and today, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, as always, which gives us a lot of things to talk about. Among them, let me see what we've got here. Lots of global warming stuff. I can't get past how many crazy ideas there are out there and how desperate people have become over something that I don't even know if I mean, even if there is climate change, I don't think it's at the level that these people think that it is. And they're ready to just sacrifice their entire life because they think that the world is coming to an end. Because, yeah. Oh, and the lengths that they'll go to justify it. It's almost like defending a religion. It's really bizarre. I mean, I have some unique experience with the type of thinking that is going on with them. There's also apparently a lot of big YouTube people quitting the platform, retiring, something like that. I've noticed a trend of videos about that coming up on my feed. I don't know what that means. Maybe some opportunities for some people. But yeah, all of that stuff coming up in just a second, so stick around. Oh, man. Thanks for sticking with us. Before we get too far, as always, I do need to encourage each of you to join in the conversation. I'm not an expert at anything, so yeah, be sure to leave your 2 cents here. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. There's young Chairman Mao saying to join the revolution. Yeah, we'd love to have you here every single night. We're going to be doing this on a regular basis. Hopefully the stream is actually reaching you guys. I'm not sure how good the signal is. We've had some pretty big weather here. It shouldn't affect my internet, but it seems to be. Now, YouTube says that the signal is excellent, but it's not looking so excellent on my end, where I see the thing. I see the spinning circle there, so I can see exactly what's happening with the live stream as you guys are seeing it, and I am getting the spinning circle on YouTube. So. Not looking so spectacular. I don't know if that's a YouTube thing. It's yeah, or if it's just because of the weather here. Again, it shouldn't be affected because I'm using a 5G thingamajig. But just the same, it seems to be having some issues. So I'm not going to let that stop me. Eventually, this signal will get through, and you guys will be able to hear what I am trying to say. I want to welcome some people here. Let's see. I see we've got a couple of people. Nunya, Texas on the back 20, and Tim Bailey. Welcome. Glad to see you guys here. Anyone else who may happen to be in the chat, feel free to join in the conversation. Like I said, I'm not an expert at anything. So, and even if you don't think that you're an expert, you're equally not an expert as me. So, yeah, share your knowledge with us. Let's jump into this first thing, some of the crazy stuff that's on Reddit. Now, as I said, before, I was getting this stuff about Collapse. That's a subreddit on Reddit that was being pushed to me. And, I kind of got a few laughs out of the people in there because they're literally just buying this stuff. And they're ready for their lives to end. It's like, is there even any point to continuing to do anything? They're ready to just curl up in a ball on the floor or wrap themselves in blankets and just sit there and wait for the world to end. But here, now it is also pushing climate change. I guess that they have decided that it's important for them to do their part to, marketing, some kind of marketing push for this climate change business. Not enough people buying into it, so they've got to try and convince more people. Now, in this one, I'll read you guys the title of the post. It says, "Please, we need to be united. If you believe climate change is not real, look at what scientists who have devoted their life have to say. Please inform yourself before you cement your beliefs." Now, this is the one that I was talking about. We have people that are so bought into this thing. It's like a religion. I have heard so many people make this exact argument. Please just listen to the message. You've got to get part of this church or something like that to be saved, or whatever it happens to be. In this case, they're not talking about deity, although they might as well be, because of the way that they're going about it. That it's remarkable to me. I'm seeing more and more of this stuff. It's like if you just took a step back and looked at the kinds of arguments that you're making, you would see how ridiculous it is. They're literally treating this like a religion. So it says climate change brings warmer summers in some place, colder summers in others, colder winters in some places, and warmer winters in some places. It depends on weather patterns. Like, listen to yourself. What do you mean? I mean, okay, climate change. So it doesn't seem to have any way. It gets worse. Climate change is not a simple matter. If it was, we would have definite evidence of what the future will look like. But I thought that was the whole point. That, like in 12, I remember them saying, how long ago was that? Like 12 years, we've got 12 years. They seem to have this definite idea based on some kind of data, I would hope, that, we're all doomed anyway. And we've passed that threshold. So I guess we're doomed, and there's really no point to any of it. But, right here, you have a lot of people making the argument that we don't really know. But we should buy into this. We should just have faith, I guess. There is a reason so much studying is being done. You cannot dismiss climate change being real because of not concrete evidence. That's exactly how it was written, by the way. And nothing being totally clear and proven. But at the same time, act like it's so simple that cold weather means it's not real. It's either an extremely complicated matter or it's not. If it was simple matter, it would be, again, this is how it's written. I'm just reading it, so I've lost my place. If it was complicated, we would be in the situation we were in, with scientists probably terrified at what they would know, working night and day, trying to predict how bad it will get and how to prevent it. I'm not going to read the rest of this. It's just a bunch of that stuff. So this person is saying, essentially that we don't, there's no concrete evidence. Okay, so I should change my entire life because of something that you're telling me that I need to believe without any sort of concrete evidence. At least when it comes to religion, you can tell them, like, well, you can pray to God and, he'll give you a sign or do something, to help you believe. Maybe he'll tell you in your heart. They don't even have that. It's not like I'm able to pray to the gods of climate change and they're going to tell me. Instead, they're telling me about all these scientists that are supposedly working day and night to try and find answers. So they don't know. Now, again, this is according to this post. It's not, I don't know that the actual argument about climate change is this, but this is the kind of arguments that they make, that we should make huge changes. Literally change all of society, the entire planet, based on something that has no concrete evidence. And, just because there's cold weather now doesn't mean that, and I totally understand the climate is very complex. And that's what they don't understand. They seem to look at everything like right now. When it's really, really hot in the summer, then, the climate change is a serious thing. When it gets really cold in the winter, I guess that's like an inconvenience for them. And then they have to start throwing this stuff out there. Well, there's no concrete. Just because it's cold in some places, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, come on. When I was a kid, they had El Nino. It's not like this is a new phenomenon. That this stuff has happened. The Earth's, I'm not even going to make the argument the other way. I'm just saying, like, if this is your argument, then, you've lost. This is ridiculous. I like I said, I've had this experience, making these kinds of justifications. This is someone that's so caught up in these crazy beliefs that they're finding, it's like in their mind, they're trying to justify it. I've been there, I've been there with my own religious beliefs, where you get presented with something that flies in the face of everything you believe, and then you start trying to find reasons to justify it. I don't want to, come out and start attacking religion, but, in my mind, it'd be like, I was in the LDS church, the Mormon church, and, it's like, if only they could find, some of the texts that Joseph Smith supposedly translated. And again, this is nothing. Well, yeah, you'll see what I mean. So it turns out they did. They found some of these Egyptian papyrus, and of course, the translation was nothing like what Joseph Smith said it was. And this revelation to me came about while I was in the middle of a 2-year mission trying to convert people to this church. It was pretty bad timing. Here I am devoting my life to convincing people to change their lives, and then I get presented with this. Anyway, I found ways in my mind to justify it, like, oh man, this is not good timing. Maybe the language changed somehow over time, and the Egyptian, Anyway, I can see exactly what they're doing. They can see oh my gosh, the winter's really cold. All this crazy stuff is happening, but it's still climate change. You still have to believe despite that. So yeah, it's absolutely bonkers. The kind of stuff that we can get back into some more of that here in a little bit. But I did want to talk about these big people, I guess, on YouTube that are leaving. I don't know what that's all about. Well, actually, I kind of have some idea. I mean, I guess if you're a really big channel, and a lot of these people that are leaving, I never followed them. I think it's something like the game theory or something like that. I never followed. I guess they had millions. There's a lot of these people that have millions and millions of subscribers and followers, and I have no idea who they are. Like Mr. Beast, I didn't find out about him until last year. Something like Mr. Beast. Okay. He makes video. He's not leaving, by the way. I think he's pretty well committed to YouTube. If you're a follower of Mr. Beast, don't worry, he's not going anywhere. But yeah, some of these the game theory guy, there's a few big people. There's a number of people. There was one that actually announced, and I guess the video probably came into my feed because this is trending, okay, people are leaving, so a lot of people are watching videos about big channels that are leaving. So this guy posts this video, I guess. He's in Japan. I've had a lot of interest in Asia because I lived over there, and he's like, this is it, I'm done, I'm retiring, and this is why, and it's not that bad. And I'm thinking this is the very first video of this channel that I ever saw is the end, the guy just quit. I'm like, this is when it decides to send it over to me, is at the very end. But yeah, I guess there's a lot of people like that leaving. There was another one that popped up that they were talking about it, nobody wants to work forever. And I think that's what it really comes down to. If you had a channel, and boy, wouldn't it be nice to have a channel that had millions of subscribers and views all the time, you just make enormous amounts of money. Sure, that's nice to have that income, but at some point, you probably get enough stuff and enough money that you're like, well, I guess I don't have to do it anymore. Why am I, driving myself like this? Now, it is important to have things to do, but maybe they're like, well, I guess I'm done with the YouTube thing. I can go on to do something else instead. And maybe that's why they're retiring. I don't know. But it does seem to me that spells a great opportunity for any of you out there that have some channels. I know there's a couple of people that come in here some of the time that have rapidly growing channels, like Devil Dog, for example. He's frequently coming in here. There's a number of them out there, but maybe this opens it up. You're not going to spring to the top immediately, but it, as things move up, it kind of creates some room, I guess, to grow. At least that's the way that I look at it. Who knows? I don't think that I'm going to be growing anywhere. I've seen, yeah, well, we'll keep making these live streams just the same, and hopefully everybody will enjoy it to some degree, but it's yes, I will make more videos. I see the chat coming in here. Now there may be somewhat of a delay in the thing. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I'm not sure where you guys are at in the video, but on my feed it's just at the intro. What happened? We're 14 minutes in. Did I accidentally hit a button or something? No, I don't think so. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Just the same, let me take a look at some of these comments. So we've got Nunya, Texas on the back 20, FEMA region 6, cold 15 degrees. Yeah, it's cold. It's really cold out there tonight. I think if I remember correctly, it's going to get down to 9 degrees here. Luckily, we have heating in the house and everything. Let's see, Tim Bailey, again, I see you there. Nunya, Texas 5x5. Mike Malone, glad to see you. Good evening, campers from West Virginia. Hey, it's cold here in West Virginia right now. Let's see, what else have we got here? Everybody's just saying hello to each other. Ain't no changing me. I'm way too. Yeah, I feel the same way myself. It's difficult for me to find change. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with the delay. I noticed it earlier when I was trying to check. The rest of the internet seems to work just fine. So I think it might just be YouTube. Like there's something going on with YouTube right now that is causing some problems. So I don't know what the deal is. Let's see. I take that back. The ex-wife put a little bit of change in me. Yeah, women can. Relationships have a huge impact on your life, is what I've found, and social media definitely as well is a definite impact on the country. Okay, here we go. Okay. Let me check my notes again. So we talked about these people on YouTube. Everybody's quitting. But don't you quit. This is your opportunity. Your golden hour has come. Let's see. Oh, yes. Speaking of the crazy world that we're living in, apparently this the people in Yemen that we blew up or bombed, they have, I guess, decided that they're going to attack us in return and attacked a cargo ship. It seems a little bit strange to me. I don't know. It just seems weird. I guess they blew up a cargo ship. I don't know if it sank or what. I just saw images of it on fire in the news. So, yeah, that happened. And, of course, it's a U.S.-owned cargo ship that was attacked. Hopefully none of you had anything being shipped in on that. But probably not, since it's in the Middle East. I don't know. What would be? I don't know which direction it was going. But it was attacked. Surprise, I guess that Biden, you know what, it wasn't Biden. Whoever made the decision to blow up people in Yemen, and this is a conflict that I really don't understand. I guess that there's, I really don't. So Yemen is a separate country, but they're at war with Saudi Arabia. They're by Saudi Arabia, or are they supposed to be part of the Saudi Arabia kingdom? I really don't know. But in either case, they're having this conflict, and somehow the United States is involved, and now we're blowing them up. Or is it because Yemen is somehow involved with the situation in Israel and the Palestinians? I don't know. But there's some crazy stuff going. That's blown up all over the place. I don't know why they're not so concerned about the people trying to attack the White House and all of that. These massive numbers of people out there protesting. Where do they even come from? Are there really that many people that have that kind of time to go and protest on behalf of this place after the horrible things that they did? I don't understand it. I guess I shouldn't get too involved in it because, it's a pretty volatile issue, but it is pretty crazy to me. But now, of course, they attacked and it's escalated. So now what? Are we going to return fire on them as well? Is there going to be some kind of a return attack? I know that's not great terminology, but something like that. It doesn't sound very good to me. Pretty bad situation. And also, now getting back to some of this Trump's persecutors, I guess we could call them. What's this lady over in Georgia? What was it? What's her name? Let me see if I can find it on here. Something Willis, the lady that's going after him. Anyway, she hired a special prosecutor, and it turns out that it's like a love interest, and she's saying that it's racism, that people are saying that was inappropriate for her to do that. What kind of ridiculous? I mean, can you imagine if you're part of a group, let's say, and then somebody says, well, anything you say about me acting like trash is, just attacking, because that's just how we are. If I was part of that group, I'd be like, shut up, don't drag us all into this. If you're trash, that doesn't mean we're all trash. We certainly don't want to be associated with whatever you are. I'm surprised if there's not a lot of backlash about that, Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I don't like seeing people categorized by race anyway, but then to have somebody taken, basically soil the entire, group that has nothing to do with her and her situation and, just say, well, it's because of race. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Oh, let's see. Oh, this was the big news that I saw. This was the big news. So an NBC, they have this report out. Let me see if I've got the web page up here. I think I don't. But anyway, NBC is reporting that apparently there's a group of people, these sort of nonprofit organizations and people in the government that are going to be making sure that Donald Trump, if he gets elected, that the military is not going to follow his orders to, fulfill his political agenda, which, as far as I could tell before, was all about peace, So Donald Trump is going to be giving orders to the military to, not fight wars. So does that mean that they're going to have the military is going to just, go off and start fighting wars on their own? Because that sounds a little bit scary to me. Here's the world's most powerful military, and they're just gone. They've gone rogue. They're just we're gonna go fight the wars whether you like it or not. And then who's in charge? General Milley or something like that. Lloyd Austin. He doesn't sound like he's doing too well, being in the hospital. But that's kind of scary. How do we get that under control? That's Number one, I think that Donald Trump said that he's not going to do the retribution thing, but there needs to be something done about this. This has to get brought back under control because it's absolutely terrifying to think of something like that. I don't know if all of the people that are in the military would just go along with it. I don't know how they would even know. I mean, if orders are coming down, unless Donald Trump is on TV saying hey, I gave orders for this to not happen. If you're listening to the sound of my voice, please disobey your commanding officers because they're not following orders from the commander-in-chief. I don't know how you deal with that. I can imagine people at that level being kind of confused because even though Donald Trump, would be at that point the commander-in-chief, I mean, the people that they answer to are their direct superior. What are you going to do in that situation? I don't know. Hopefully they would have sense enough to say, I'm not doing anything. But what happens, this is going to bring absolute chaos. It starts to look like there's a lot of people trying to purposely bring a lot of chaos to the world, and they're succeeding. That's the scariest one to me, though, when they're saying that they're going to get the military to basically just go off on its own, And all this talk for all this time about insurrection and, all of this stuff, what do you call that? I mean, Donald Trump got up and gave a speech and some people broke through some barricades and left. What do you call this where they're actually trying to get the military to go off and, not listen to the commander-in-chief? Which I thought was the entire point. I guess it brings us back to what's happening right now. I guess the military is acting on its own because I don't know who is in charge at the White House. It's certainly not Joe Biden. But who are they answering to? Or are they right now trying to run the show? That's kind of a scary thought if you really think about it. Well, let me see. Oh, I see more people in there. Hey, Devil Dog is here. Look at that. Devil Dog, I just mentioned it. All these big people leaving YouTube. This is an opportunity for you. Growing channels like that. If you've got a channel, this is the time to really start working hard on that stuff to get your stuff going. Let's see. Tim Bailey. Tim Dillon podcast recently discussed the large amount of articles predicting an impoverished future for the majority of people. I've been... based on the attitudes that I see on Reddit, which I don't think is necessarily a reflection of what all people think. There's a lot of people out there that don't have a lot of hope or goodwill toward doing any sort of work. You really have to. There's plenty of examples in history that show that if people see that they can get ahead from working, they will work. I mean, in China, when they first, they did the Great Leap Forward and all of that stuff, and it killed the economy because people, they just do whatever it is they have to do, but they're not going to do any more. And when you leave, farming and whatever in the hands of government bureaucrats, things tend to go wrong. So, the economy was in terrible trouble. And then they are like, hey, maybe if, we let people make money and, improve their lives through their work, maybe they'll work. And it worked. It worked brilliantly, Just throw a little bit of capitalism or free market at it, and, what do you know? It picked the country up and turned things around. Of course, Mao didn't like that. I don't know that he cared about the people doing well, but he did not like that other people had ideas that worked and his did not. And he started the Cultural Revolution, and they had to do it all over again later on. But, it works. Maybe they ought to try that here in what is supposed to be the capital of the free world, right? We're at the center of democracy, well, whatever you want to call it, capitalism and free market stuff. Maybe they ought to just tell these young people, hey, if you work, you can get all those things that you like, You like iPhones, you like Android, whatever the Samsung phone is, or Apple computers, video game consoles. Guess what? You can get those things if you work. You can get a job and you can get paid and, voila, you can buy stuff. Of course, I understand there's bills. Maybe that has to be brought under control. Unfortunately, I have bad news when it comes to the inflation thing. Those prices at the grocery store are probably never going to come back down unless we go through a period of deflation, which would actually be worse because it means that the economy is contracting. And that's really, really bad. I mean, it would seem great at first, but it's actually meaning that, the economy is shrinking. And we don't want that. We definitely don't want that. But maybe we can do things where people can make enough money to where it doesn't matter anymore. Then we can have enough money to buy food, even at these higher prices. We just need to turn it around. Of course, Bidenomics is not helping with that, but who knows? Maybe we can get it to work. Let's see. Eldan, have you watched Little China Everywhere? She is a YouTuber who wanders around China. I have not, but I will check that out because, of course, I am interested in, all things China, having lived there for a period of time. I would love to see somebody's YouTube channel about that. It's been difficult as far as the YouTube channels from China. I mean, before there was the Serpent ZA guy, Laowai 80-something, and a few others, but those people have all left China, and they still make videos about China, but, they don't live in China anymore, so it's not the same sort of thing. But I have found others that are in China, but every time I turn it on, it turns out to be like some kind of propaganda video where they're like, these are the things I can do in China that I can't do in America. And it's like somebody that's never even been to America. That was the part that was, there's somebody from like South Africa, and they're talking about, all these things that supposedly they can do in China that they can't do in America. And I'm like, you didn't even do any research. The things you're doing in your video, you can't do in China. You could get in trouble for that. Or, that's not true. In America, you can do those things. But yeah, I thought it was kind of ridiculous. It was weird just to see that all of them are just bashing America. It's like, well, why don't you just show, the good that's happening in China, why you like it there, instead of like, America sucks and all of this stuff. So I've been kind of turned off on some of the videos that are in China right now, but I do need to check out some of them because I know there are, some that are just talking about life in China, which is good enough. You don't have to bash America for China to be good. It's good on its own for its own reasons. Every place has its flaws, but hey, China has a lot of good people in it. Let's see. I get the impression that China is composed of many different cultures. She also has a strange Swiss connection. Yeah, China actually has a lot of different cultures depending on what part you're in. It's easy as a foreigner to think that everything is kind of generic everywhere you go. But if you, let's say, go to Yunnan province, for example, you're going to find very different things that you don't see in other places. Or if you go to Chongqing, for example, you're going to, again, find things that you don't see in other places. There is quite a bit of diversity. Once your eyes get used to being there, you start to notice a lot of the differences. But definitely in the food. I mean, everywhere you go, they have their own different sort of flavors or kinds of foods, different dialects. I mean, in the United States, if I go to the South, let's say they have an accent, right? Or if I go to Brooklyn or New York, or if I go up to Boston, they're going to have a different accent. Well, in China, if I go to a different province or a different part of the province, it's not just going to be an accent. They're going to be speaking a different language, a dialect. But it's a completely different language. For example, if I go to some of the cities where a lot of the Western investment are, like in Shenzhen or Guangzhou, they speak a completely different language to what they do in the rest of the country, and you can get kind of thrown off on. You're on the train, they'll announce the stop in 3 different languages. You're listening, there's the English one, and then the next thing you know, you hear a bunch of weird stuff, and you're like, what is that? And it's Cantonese, like you'd hear in the old Kung Fu movies, if you're a fan of those, which I love to watch them. I know some of them are really awful movies, but, they're enjoyable to watch for their own reason. But I would love to... I'd love to check out some channels that just show the good over there. That's enjoyable to me because, that's been sort of my experience. I've had my own crazy experiences over there, but a lot of it has been good, of course. I've got family, and I know that people in general over there are pretty good people. They are just like us, And that's something that people don't realize when they think about China. They just think about like, oh my gosh, they're crazy communists and all this. Well, no, if you get over there, they're very pragmatic people. They work hard and they care a lot about their family, and that's really their major concern. They're not so caught up in all this stuff about America or anything else. They're really focused on their family and just working, kind of like people here. Well, I say that, but then as long as you're not focusing on the people that are on social media, those people are crazy. Yeah, the accents, Now, of course, if you're from the South, that means that the people elsewhere have the accent, right? It's in relation to where you're from. So if you're in the South and you speak the way that they speak there, then I'm I don't know what you would call mine. People say I'm like the one that has nothing. There's no accent whatsoever. Whatever you call that, the Midwest sort of sound. I don't know, I've lived in too many places. So, yeah, I don't have any of that. Maybe I'm like a collection of, no, I'm not. I don't know. Sometimes I'll pick up phrases from different places I've lived. I'm from Virginia, which is technically a southern state, but the area where I lived is not really southern, I guess. I don't know. There were plenty of people. Yeah, you know what I mean. Most of it, though, it's not in China an accent. It's literally another language. Now, in school, they all learn Mandarin, but, at home, they're not speaking Mandarin. It throws me off when I go to visit relatives, it's close enough to Mandarin, the one that they speak, but it's just a little bit different. So I have to get used to 2 different, words that mean the same thing. I think that they humor me by speaking some Mandarin when I visit. They'll say it in Mandarin, but a very different sort of thing. Let's see. I speak Appalachian and write it that way too. Yeah, you know what? Appalachia is a place that has picked up a lot of interest as of late on the internet. I've noticed that if you get on YouTube, there are a lot of channels growing, a lot of people that are talking about this region of the country. And I'm a little confused why people move to some places and they don't move here. This is a beautiful part of the world. I understand it has a reputation for problems, I guess, but really, if you get in here, you'd be amazed. If you've never been through West Virginia or parts of Kentucky or parts of Virginia, it's a beautiful, beautiful place, and you really feel kind of separated from the rest of the country and the rest of the world when you get in here in some of these hollers, these mountain valleys and stuff. You feel like it doesn't really matter what's happening in the rest of the world when you're here. It's kind of nice at times to feel that way. It's a little bit hard coming from China because I'm so used to the sort of energy of the place and people and things happening constantly, even in small places. But I've gotten used to it over time to where, this is pretty comfortable and relaxing to be in a place like this. And it's nice that a place like this exists. Now, let's see. Eldan, language is a group defense to outsiders. It's interesting that there's much language variation there and still abide by this big system. Yeah, everybody does speak Mandarin. I mean, even the old people like that, I've heard that some old people didn't go to school and didn't learn Mandarin. They'll still know some Mandarin. But everybody speaks that as their common language. Of course, the writing is the same, unless you get over to Hong Kong or Taiwan or somewhere like that, where they still use the old way of writing, the traditional Chinese characters. but the writing is the same, so you can write to someone and they'll understand whatever dialect they happen to speak. But I'm not sure what exactly it is that unifies the Chinese people under, it's definitely not the language. Culture, you can't say that it's necessarily, the culture because, well, there's a lot of variation there. There are some big things that everybody does the same, but, there's a lot of diversity. I guess it's just being Chinese. I don't know. Something like that. Let's see. Only Fords, what you think about Trump taking shots at Vivek? I look at it and I say it just shows where Vivek stands. Vivek Ramaswamy, if you're wondering who we're talking about, he's the other candidate that people like that's running for president or for the Republican Party. Nobody cares about Ron DeSantis or this Nikki Haley lady anymore. Who cares about them? Donald Trump isn't even interested in talking about them or debating with them. So the fact that he's, firing shots at Vivek, it just says that, hey, Vivek is the one that he sees as the only possible rival. And of course, he's going to, they're in a competition here. So now that it's coming down to it, he sees that as his main rival. Of course, he's going to throw shots at him. It doesn't really mean anything to me because, that's what they're doing. It's part of the campaign process for the primaries. So, yeah, it's just them fighting it out. I guess Donald Trump sees a worthy opponent maybe in Vivek, whereas the other two are just, they're awful. I don't know how else to describe it. Nikki Haley is the one that, oh man. And Ron DeSantis, I just keep hearing how bad his campaign is. I was never really excited about Ron DeSantis in the first place. It just seemed like, I don't know, here's another one of these politicians that, and it turns out that, yeah, that's exactly what he is. He's just another one of the politicians. I feel like, political anything. It's just, it stinks. Anyone who gets involved in it, somehow, it's like a stain. Maybe that's not the case. I just haven't known that many politicians. I've known plenty of people who work in the government, but they weren't politicians. So it's not quite the same thing. That's how I look at it. It's just that he sees him as the one to go after, which means that he's doing well and he's doing what he should be doing. He's saying the right things. I guess we'll see how Vivek handles it. If he does it right, then he can, I guess, remain in his place. Of course, Donald Trump is going to take the nomination. That's pretty obvious at this point. We just have to see if he makes it without getting in prison. I guess that's one of the things that Vivek was saying, like, hey, there's a good chance that you don't even make it to be in the election. That's why I'm here, because, I have better chances of actually making it to the election. It's crazy that we have to even consider that Donald Trump might not even be allowed to run. It's just absolutely insane where we find ourselves in the country. But, this is the world that we live in now. So it's just crazy. Let's see. It's clear who is spending more money on the campaign. Yeah, I know Vivek is using a lot of his money, so it's not like he's fake or something. He really does care about what he's doing. But again, I see Trump saying this stuff. It's like, well, of course he is. Now it's getting down to it. He sees this is the guy to challenge. This is the one to have that battle with. And to me, it just says, yeah, this is the only other person that actually counts. The other two, I don't know why they're even bothering to continue with what they're doing. That they're done. But that's how I view it. It doesn't, seem like anything bad to me. I'm not going to be like, oh man, Trump shouldn't be doing that. He knows what he's doing. I mean, if Vivek should, if anything, he should feel, proud that he's the only one that he's talking about that way. That Trump has decided to come after him. It means that he sees him as an action, that Vivek actually has potential as a rival. That's just where I see it. Let's see. Trump will pick a female vice president. I hope that he doesn't pick someone based on that sort of thinking. Like, well, we're going to just, because to satisfy whatever it is that we think that people want, We'll pick a lady vice president. It's I hope that it's not. I hope that the qualifications are something other than that, other than gender. At this point, I think that the woke stuff is it's done. Nobody cares about it. I see people talk about it, and it's like, just stop. Just stop with this crazy stuff. Nobody wants to hear it anymore. We're pretty much all done. At least I'm done with it. I don't know. Maybe other people feel differently, but yeah, I'm not. I'm done with the woke stuff. Let me see, what else have we got here? So, where are we at? Why cooling? Oh yes, here we go. Here I've got more of this crazy stuff from these people that believe in the climate change. You know, because now we've had situations like right now where everything is cold. So they've called it global warming at times. Now they have to come out and say, no, it's still global warming. So here I've got in this this climate change subreddit, they've got this thing from CNN. Why we still have brutal cold snaps even as the planet warms to record levels. And then the comments are absolutely classic. Yes, this needs to be explained to people. However, I think not many listen and just associate cold with everything is okay. I don't know. I don't like cold myself. I mean, I can tolerate cold. I'm probably better at tolerating cold than other people. But, you know, it doesn't, I don't know. I don't look at cold as okay. Cold is cold. Let's see. The number of it's hot something, are we dead posts from a week or two ago are the same people who will think we're fine now. Climate isn't weather. That's bizarre. Climate isn't weather. Climate isn't weather. What is it then? Let's see. There's a lot of this crazy stuff in here. At some point, you would think that somebody would step back and they would say to themselves, hey, you know what? I think this is a bunch of baloney. I don't think this is true. I think that they made it up. And, you know, they always talk about that, like global temperatures are rising. It's an average. It's an average. It doesn't mean, I don't know, where are the temperatures rising? I would really like to know. They really like to point it out when the temperatures get above a certain level, you know, but they're always talking about record stuff, you know. It doesn't mean that the whole planet is warming up, but they can use it that way. I'd really like to have somebody really explain this to me. How are they getting this data? How are they determining that this is actually a problem and that it's not like a locally isolated incident? You know, okay, there's a temperature spike in one place, and because of that, you know, global temperatures, this is causing the average to go up. I mean, if you know how math works, it kind of makes sense, I guess. But according to them, Earth boiled in 2023. It boiled, and it's going to happen again in 2024. So you think that you're cold now? You think that this is okay? Guess what? You're going to boil. I didn't know that the Earth, when I saw the headline, I was thinking to myself, like, did it really, I mean, is there any place on Earth outside of like somewhere with volcanic activity, you know, like a hot spring or something, where temperatures have actually gotten to where it boiled, like boiling hot? Is that even really, I mean, I don't think that that's a thing. I really don't. That's just ridiculous. These people are absolutely losing their minds over it. And as I said, you know, they think that they've got it. I've seen people that are in desperate situations. They're way inland. Let's say they're in Washington somewhere, right? Like in Tacoma or something. And they're like, I'm in a low-lying area. Do I need to move? Because, you know, when the ocean rises up, I guess it's going to swallow up all of Washington somehow, all the way into Tacoma. And they're in big trouble. It's crazy, the stuff that people post on Reddit. It's absolutely crazy. They've driven these people insane. And it's no wonder nobody's wanting to do anything. They think the world's coming to an end. But anyway, I'm getting off on quite a bit of a tangent with that. I've got this this Fannie Willis lady that we wanted to talk about a little bit here. Let's see. It's all nonsense, these media ideas. Same with the Jibby. Yeah, there's a lot of the CO2 thing. I don't understand. I mean, like the... I don't know. CO2 is good for plants, right? I'm probably sounding like a moron when I talk about this, but I would love to have someone explain how CO2 is a greenhouse gas. I mean, is it a greenhouse gas? I understand some other types of gases, but we've always had carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. I would like to know how that is a greenhouse gas and what we're going to do about it. How are you going to deal with that? I mean, they want to cut off all of this industry, but I feel like it's just a way to sabotage the country. Like we got to shut it down and let these other places do whatever they want. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, again, I probably sound like a total moron. I would be completely open to have someone who actually knows about this stuff explain it. If CO2 actually is a greenhouse gas, and how it's affecting the planet, if we really are producing more carbon dioxide than at any other time, I would think that maybe the way to deal with that is to plant more trees. I don't know. Again, I'm probably sounding like a total moron. I totally understand it. But, yeah. Let's see. Mike Malone. So no more talking to your... I can't... it's cutting that off. Your plants. There we go. Yeah, don't talk to the plants. I don't know. I would think that they would appreciate that because we're breathing out carbon dioxide, which is something that they need to breathe in. So, yeah. Help them grow. Let's use up more of the carbon dioxide and create more oxygen, which actually will lead to massive global cooling, I would think. I don't know. Is it the carbon that's the greenhouse thing? I have to look at it to understand why. I'm sure that there's some kind of information online that would tell me why CO2 is a greenhouse gas. Again, I'm not trying to sound like a moron, but if somebody can explain that to me, I would appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, let me see. Yes, this Willis lady. I mentioned it briefly earlier. So this is from ABC News. Fulton County DA Fannie Willis defends special prosecutor following allegation of a romantic relationship. So she's called herself flawed. I would call her corrupt. I mean, corrupt people are going to behave in corrupt ways. So it's no surprise that she would have an inappropriate relationship with someone that... church remarks. That's another thing. You get all these politicians that go to church. Like Joe Biden, he's supposedly a Catholic. I saw this come up the other day. He's Catholic, but then he's at some... he's like going to, I guess he said it was a black church. I don't know what Joe Biden is thinking. But he's like, oh, let's go to the black church. And it's like, no, you don't. You're a Catholic. What are you talking about? You're going to some Baptist church or whatever, kind of like a Pentecostal or something. What are you talking about? You're Catholic. Now, I understand that the Catholic Church is kind of like distancing itself from Joe Biden. But, what is he talking about? These politicians, they'll say anything. Like, okay, we go to church. Right. Okay. You go to church. Do you believe in the church? Probably not. But, well, you know what? I shouldn't say. What do I know? I don't know this lady, but, corrupt people are going to behave in corrupt ways, and that's a very corrupt thing that someone would do, have this relationship with someone that apparently they shouldn't. I don't know if she's married. And I don't know. I don't know the situation, but in either case, she hired someone to be the prosecutor that is, corruption. Just corruption all around. But anyway, she's come out and said that it's a race thing, that people are attacking her. Like I said, I would hope that everybody that is a part of the group that she has now slandered would come out and say, hey, we're a little bit more diverse than that. Don't associate us with this thing. Don't throw that on all of us. That's ridiculous. That's a very racist thing to do, I would think. But anyway, I'm getting. What else have I had something else here. Oh yeah, the more of the crazy earth boiled and let's see. We need to be united thing. Yeah, I guess we've been through pretty much all of it. How long have I been talking here? Let me see. Where's the YouTube tab? I've got to make sure I'm not... wow, I've been going for like 46 minutes. Normally, I do this for about 30 minutes. Hey, glad to see you. Southern Boy Prepper, welcome. Glad to see you here. Let's see. Ildan, the best election scene would have Trump versus Biden too. And Trump pulling off Biden's rubber mask. Oh, man. I don't know if Joe Biden is going to make it. I don't know that he's going to make it to the election I just don't know that there's people in high places apparently saying that he's going to have a medical situation and drop out. But yeah, of course he is. There's no way that he can win. Donald Trump is favored to win, absolutely, and that's why they're going crazy right now. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it's not a wig that Donald Trump isn't wearing a wig. I don't think. I think it's like a massive comb over is what it is. So you'd see it like blowing in the wind. This really, really long hair that he's kind of, I don't know what do you even call that hairstyle. I guess he's trying to have the same hair that he had way back in the day. I don't know. Maybe that's the way that his hair was even back then. I have no idea. But yeah, Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Joe Biden. He just needs to go away. But so do all these people that are saying that they're going to cause trouble after the election is done. So we have, the will of the people to elect someone, and they're saying, like, well, if, the will of the people succeeds, then we're going to come in and disrupt it. There's your insurrection right there. There's your threat to democracy that needs to be dealt with. Absolutely crazy. It's a scalp reduction. I see. Let's see. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Oh, yeah. If you guys don't mind, you can hit the thumbs up button. I forgot. Where is she? Where is that? Where is she at? I know that she's in here. There she is. Yeah, hit the like button. The Chinese lady said so. That's actually a lady, I think, from a show. My wife told me they have these shows in China where, like in America, we have soap operas. I don't know if General Hospital still comes on or The Days of Our Lives, that sort of thing. Well, in China and Taiwan and other places over there, they have soap operas of a sort, but they're about like all the ladies that lived in the emperor's court, his concubines or something, It's really bizarre. So in theirs, I don't know what happens in American soap operas because I've not really ever watched them. But in theirs, it's like, wow, these people conspired to kill that lady to get ahead or, something like that. Really, really bizarre stuff to me. Of course, Chinese television has always been a little bit, it's gotten worse since I first got to China. When I first got there, they had all kinds of weird stuff. Like, I didn't know what it was at the time. Now I know it's Journey to the West, which is about, this monk that went to India to get, the scriptures of Buddhism and bring them back to China. But I didn't know what was going on. They had like this monkey guy flying around on a cloud. Turns out he's the Monkey King, Sun Wukong, and he has all these great kung fu things that he can do. But to my eyes, I just turned on the TV and there's like a monkey guy flying around. There's all these weird ladies, in these shows, ping pong, professional ping pong, which they do have. And people do watch over there. You can watch professional ping pong in China. And I just thought it was really strange. Now the Communist Party, I guess, is really, they've dried it up. It's horrible. You get on there and it's like there's this series about Deng Xiaoping. I think they had one about Deng Xiaoping that was about as boring as, oh my gosh, let's watch paint dry. And it's a story that could be interesting. He went through a lot of crap because of the Cultural Revolution. But of course they don't focus on that because that would look bad. That would make people angry with the Communist Party. So, and by the way, if you're the Communist Party listening to this, I'm not trying to be, of course you're going to not show the stuff that makes people angry, but yeah, you know what I mean. It's really boring. They it's like they take all the creativity out of it. Anything that's creative is bad. Of course, I found that when I was in Beijing. I better not talk about that stuff. I'll get myself into trouble here. I've gotten in enough trouble in China. Let's see. Eldan, what Chinese pieces of flair would be desirable to show in the event of a ground invasion? I don't know. Chinese people that I've encountered, I've known some people that were in the military. I think at one point there was a guy that had a bunch of businesses in this town, and I would go and he'd always want me to go to these business dinners. He called them business dinners. It's just he and his friends getting together and, drinking baijiu and eating a bunch of food. So I'd go to these, and, one of the guys that went with him all the time, he was a captain in the PLA. He was retired at the time, but I met him, and he seemed like a pretty normal guy. He didn't seem like he's totally bought into all the crazy, propaganda. But regular Chinese people, I mean, if they were marching, I can't even imagine in my mind these people marching down the street doing anything, So I don't know what you would show them. They probably wouldn't care. They'd probably come and eat hamburgers. I don't know. They'd be like, oh, well, let's try some American food. That's about the extent of their thinking I would be, other than doing whatever it is that they're supposed to do. But I don't even know if I can't imagine it coming to that point. I honestly, I mean, maybe if you're in Taiwan, maybe you feel a little bit more stressed about something like that. But in the mainland United States, I don't imagine in a scenario where Chinese troops land on our shores and invade or do anything like that. So, yeah, probably not something you have to worry about. Even in Taiwan, I'm not going to make any predictions, but I just don't think that that's the case. Let's see. Alan Weiberg, FYI, YouTube showed the live chat scheduled for 3 a.m. Yeah, it likes to do that. I don't know what the deal is, why it would do that, but it definitely wasn't scheduled for 3 a.m. I don't know if anybody else had that happen, but every day I am going to try to get on here at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, so you know that I'm going to be here at that time every single day. So you can jump in and see it, and whatever YouTube tells you, forget about that. Yeah, never mind the 3 a.m. thing. It's definitely not scheduled for 3 a.m. And I believe that my camera just died. So in a moment, all you're going to hear, or you're just going to hear me, because I'm going to be gone from the camera, which is a good sign that it's probably time to end the live stream, because, I'm gone. Let's see. I think it would start from the West Coast. If it was going by the West Coast time, then it would be much, much earlier. So, if I'm going to be doing it at 10, gosh, how many hours difference is it? Like 4 or 5 hours. It'd be in like the afternoon, maybe the early evening, probably early evening. But yeah, anyway, I'm gone from the feed here. You're just going to be seeing some colored bars here, and that probably means it's time to stop. So anyway, no silly questions. By the way, Eldan, no silly questions at all. By the way, is that a reference to, no, that's, what is it? The Man in the High Castle. Anyway, yeah, no silly questions here. Always glad to answer any questions anybody has. And with that, I had better go ahead and end this. Again, if you haven't already, watch this. I can make the stuff pop up even though I'm not on there. Subscribe to the channel, comment, hit the like button, and beyond that, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.